upon the altar of the burnt offering. And the skin of the bullock, and all his flesh,
This is the
his
main
head,
road
and his legs, and his inwards, and his dung, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth outside the camp to a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn him on the wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out shall he be burnt. If the whole congregation of Israel sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done something against any of the commandments of Yahweh concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty, when the sin which they have sinned against is known, then the congregation shall offer a young bullock for the sin, and bring him in front of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullock in front of Yahweh, and the bullock shall be killed in front of Yahweh. And the priest that is anointed shall bring of the bullock's blood to the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times in front of Yahweh, even in front of the veil. And he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar which is in front of Yahweh, that is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour out all the blood at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take all his fat from it, and burn it upon the altar. And he shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock for a sin offering, so shall he do with this. And the priest shall make an atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven. And he shall carry forth the bullock outside the camp, and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is a sin offering for the congregation. When a ruler has sinned, and done something through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahweh his Elohim concerning things which should not be done, and is guilty, or if his sin, in which he has sinned, come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a male without blemish, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering in front of Yahweh. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out his blood at the bottom of the altar of burnt offering. And he shall burn all his fat upon the altar, as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance, or he does something against any of the commandments of Yahweh concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty, or if his sin, which he has sinned, come to his knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sin which he has sinned. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and kill the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. The priest shall take of the blood of it with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood of it at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat of it, as the fat is taken away from off the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor to Yahweh. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. And if he bring a lamb for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood of it at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat that is on it, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar, according to the offerings made by fire to Yahweh. And the priest shall make an atonement for his sin that he has committed, and it shall be forgiven. Leviticus chapter 5. And if a soul sin, and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he does not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of unclean cattle, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and if it be hidden from him,
our home,
he shall be unclean and guilty. Or if he touch the
wanted to document.
Whatsoever uncleanness it be, that a man shall be defiled with, and it is hid from him. When he knows of it, then he shall be guilty.
Bye.